Have you ever wondered how cybersecurity experts stay ahead of threats? Well, the answer lies in the strategic use of threat maps and feeds. These tools are critical in the ever-evolving field of cybersecurity, providing a real-time snapshot of global cyber threats and attacks. Let's imagine a world without threat maps and feeds. Cybersecurity professionals would be like sailors navigating stormy seas without a compass. They would have to rely on their instincts and past experiences, with no real-time information to guide their actions. The results? A higher chance of falling victim to unforeseen threats, and less effective responses to ongoing attacks. But thankfully, we do have threat maps and feeds. They serve as our compass in the vast ocean of cyberspace, charting the course of cyber threats as they evolve and spread across the globe. They provide a visual representation of cyber threats, enabling cybersecurity professionals to monitor and respond to threats in a more timely and effective manner. Threat maps and feeds are not just about monitoring, though. They also act as an early warning system, alerting cybersecurity professionals to emerging threats before they become full-blown attacks. They allow for proactive responses rather than reactive ones. This can mean the difference between a minor security incident and a major data breach. Moreover, threat maps and feeds provide a wealth of data that can be analyzed to predict future threats. By studying patterns and trends in cyber threats, cybersecurity professionals can develop strategies to mitigate future risks. They give us the ability to learn from the past, anticipate the future, and act in the present. So, why does all this matter? Because in today's interconnected world, cyber threats are not confined to a single location or organization. They can spread rapidly across networks, affecting millions of users in a matter of minutes. Threat maps and feeds enable us to stay one step ahead, turning the tide in our favor in the ongoing battle against cyber threats. Understanding threat maps and feeds is step one in grasping the dynamic field of cybersecurity. They are our eyes and ears in the digital world, helping us to navigate the complex landscape of cyber threats and ensure a safer digital future for all. But what exactly are threat maps and feeds? A great question, and one we're about to dive into. At their core, threat maps and feeds are critical tools in the world of cybersecurity. Let's break it down. A threat map, also known as a cyber threat map, is a real-time visualization of cyber threats happening around the globe. Picture a digital world map, glowing with hotspots of activity, each representing a cyber attack or threat. It's like a weather map, but for the digital world, tracking storms of malicious activity instead of rain or snow. Now, on to threat feeds. These are essentially streams of data that provide raw information about the cyber threats represented on the threat map. The feed might include data such as IP addresses, malware types, or attack vectors. It's like the ticker tape at the bottom of a news broadcast, constantly updating with the latest information. Let's delve a bit deeper into the data types involved. An IP address can give clues about the origin of an attack, potentially revealing the location or even the identity of the perpetrator. Malware types help to identify the nature of the threat, whether it's a virus, a worm, ransomware, or something else entirely. Knowing the type of malware can help cybersecurity experts to understand how it might behave and how best to combat it. Attack vectors, meanwhile, are the methods or pathways used by cybercriminals to deliver their malicious code. Understanding the attack vector can help in identifying weaknesses in a system and in formulating a plan of defense. So think of threat maps and feeds as the eyes and ears of cybersecurity experts. They provide a visual representation of the battlefield and a constant stream of intelligence about the enemy's movements. And there you have it. Threat maps, with their pulsing visualizations of cyber threats, and threat feeds, with their constant stream of raw data, are like the radar and radio signals of a cyber warfare. They help security experts to identify threats, understand their nature, and formulate a plan of action. So, threat maps and feeds are critical tools for security experts to identify and respond to cyber threats. Now that we know what they are, how do threat maps and feeds work? Well, let's dive in. At the heart of threat feeds is data collection. This process is quite vast and comprehensive, pulling in information from a multitude of sources. These sources can range from malware logs and network traffic to threat intelligence platforms. Now, imagine trying to manually sift through and make sense of all this data. It would be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, wouldn't it? This is where threat maps come into play. They take this raw, often overwhelming data, and transform it into something that's visually engaging and easy to interpret. So, how exactly does this transformation occur? The threat map processes the data from the threat feed, identifying key patterns and trends. It then visualizes this information in a way that's easy to digest. This could be anything from pinpointing the geographic origins of a threat to highlighting the most targeted industries. This visualization is not merely for aesthetic purposes. It provides security professionals with an immediate and comprehensive overview of the current threat landscape. This enables them to respond quickly and effectively to potential threats, thereby minimizing any potential damage. In essence, threat maps and feeds turn raw data into actionable intelligence. They take the complexity of cybersecurity and make it simpler, more manageable, and ultimately, more effective. We've understood what they are and how they work, but why are threat maps and feeds so important? Well, let's dive right in. Threat maps and feeds play a critical role in enabling proactive defense. They allow cybersecurity teams to stay one step ahead by continuously monitoring and alerting on potential threats. This proactive approach is much more effective than a reactive one. Instead of waiting for a breach to happen and then dealing with the aftermath, teams can anticipate and mitigate potential threats before they ever become a problem. But that's not all. Threat maps and feeds also significantly improve incident response. When a breach does occur, every second counts. Having real-time data about the nature and source of the threat can dramatically speed up response times, reducing the potential damage. Perhaps one of the most remarkable benefits of threat maps and feeds is their role in facilitating threat intelligence sharing. In the cybersecurity world, knowledge is power. By sharing information about threats, organizations can collectively strengthen their defenses. It's like joining forces to fight a common enemy. So while threat maps and feeds might seem like just another tool in the cybersecurity toolbox, they're actually a lot more. They are crucial components in maintaining a robust cybersecurity posture, helping organizations navigate the murky waters of the digital world. In the ever-evolving landscape of cyber threats, threat maps and feeds are our compass and radar. Let's take a moment to recap. We've journeyed through the dynamic world of cybersecurity, focusing on threat maps and feeds. These valuable tools provide real-time visualization and updates of cyber threats worldwide. By understanding their functioning, we've discovered why they are crucial. They equip us with the knowledge to preemptively tackle cyber threats, thereby fortifying our defenses. Remember, in the world of cybersecurity, knowledge is power, and threat maps and feeds are powerful tools for gaining that knowledge.